So this time, our focus is about governance, accountability, and public social ethics. Governance, accountability, and public social ethics from the foundation of effective and trustworthy public administration. Again, governance refers to the structures, processes, and mechanism through which public institution exercise authority, make decisions and deliver services to citizens. When governance is guided by clear rules, inclusive participation, and ethical standards, it promotes stability, no, responsiveness, and public confidence. In democratic systems, no, especially in the Philippine context, good governance is essential in ensuring that power is exercised in the interest of the people and aligned with the rule of law. Accountability and public social ethics strengthen governance by ensuring that public officials are answerable for their actions and decisions. Accountability mechanisms such as reporting system, audits, and citizen feedback help prevent misuse of authority and promote responsible behavior. Public social ethics further guide officials to act with integrity, with fairness, and reinforce the moral responsibility of public servants towards society. At this point, I would like to give the floor to our presenter, Sir Jericho, who will discuss key concept, frameworks, and practical insights on governance, accountability, and public social ethics. Go ahead po.
Good morning po din. Good morning po classmates. I will be reporting po the governance, accountability, and public social ethics. First, I will define that the governance is more than just a word. It's a fabric that holds our societal system together. It's about how decisions are made, who makes them, and how resources are managed for the public good. Next slide po. Understanding governance. Governance refers to the system, processes, and institution by which authority is exercised and public resources are managed. Key dimensions of governance is decision-making process. This refers to the system and structure used to arrive at choices, set objectives, and define strategies. Effective processes and typically transparent, inclusive, and based on sound information analysis. Second is institutional leadership. Institutional leadership, this is dimension which involves the roles, responsibility, and behaviors of those in position of authority. Strong leadership is essential for providing strategic direction, fostering a positive culture, and ensuring that the entity adheres to its mission and values. Stakeholder participation. Governance is strengthened when those who are affected by decision have a voice in the process. This includes engaging various groups such as employees, shareholders, community members, or citizens to ensure that diverse perspectives are considered and that outcomes are more widely accepted and sustainable. And policy implementation. This is the practical execution of agreed-upon policy and strategies. Effective implementation requires clear communication, adequate resources, proper oversight, and mechanism to monitor progress and adjust course as needed. The governance begins with leadership credibility and organizational discipline, especially at the executive and supervisory levels. Next slide. Principle of good Principles of good governance. The principle of good governance, which are foundational for any effective organization. First, the rule of law, which ensures that everyone is subject to the law, which safeguards fairness and justice. This principle is crucial in maintaining order and protecting citizenships. Next is transparency and responsiveness. It is vital that transparency builds trust as stakeholders can see the decision-making process clearly. Responsiveness, on the other hand, ensure that the needs and concerns of the public are addressed promptly and effectively. Effectiveness and efficiency focus on achieving goals with minimal resources, while participation allows diverse voices to be heard in decision-making. This inclusivity leads to more equitable solution, and equity and inclusiveness ensures that all community members feel valued and included, and accountability holds officials responsible for their action, fostering trust and integrity. In effective executive play play a crucial role by setting standard, exemplifying ethical behavior, and enforcing accountability. Next slide. Accountability in the public sector. Accountability is the obligation of public officials to answer for their action, decision, and use of authority. There are four forms of accountability in public sector, which is political accountability, which political accountability, which ensures that elected and appointed leaders remain answerable to the people and to higher authority for their action. Citizens holds officials accountable at the ballot box. Major attention is currently focused on the candidates for future cycles as voters evaluate performance on economic issues like flood affordability and job creation. Second is administrative accountability. This form focuses on the internal performance and conduct of civil servants within the government hierarchy. For example, is the Civil Service Commission as the central personnel agency. The CSC enforces the Code of Conduct and Ethical Standard for Public Official, which is the Republic Act 6713. Update Rules 2026 for filing the CSC release of rules and statement of asset, liabilities, net worth, like SAL and PO. Then, third is legal accountability. Legal accountability is maintained through judicial and quasi-judicial bodies that punish unlawful acts and graft. The office example is the Office of the Ombudsman, known as the Tanod Bayan. Has primarily power to investigate and prosecute public officials for illegal, unjust, and inefficient acts. Next is social accountability. This involves direct citizens' participation and oversight by civil society to ensure government responsiveness. The supervisory accountability start with clear delegation of authority matched with the responsibility and performance monitoring. Next po is the constitutional and legal basis. Article 11 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, accountability of public officer, established the legal framework and institution responsible for ensuring that the government official maintain high standards of integrity and are held accountable for their action. Based also in the Section 1 that public office is a public trust. The king institution is the Office of the Ombudsman, Commission on Audit, and Civil Service Commission. The Office of the Ombudsman is the primary anti-corruption watchdog responsible for investigating and prosecuting government officials for illegal, unjust, and inefficient acts. Then, Commission on Audit is the sole external auditor of the Philippine government, ensuring the transparency and accountability in the use of public funds. It has the power to examine, audit, and settle all accounts pertaining to the revenue, receipt, and expenditures of the government. Next, the Civil Service Commission is the central personnel agency of the government, tasked in professionalizing the civil service and enforcing public ethics and ethical standards based on the RA 6713. Executive and Supervisory Act as the first line of accountability before formal oversight bodies to intervene. Next book. Public social ethics. Public social ethics refers to the moral standard guiding public official in serving the common good. It is the public social ethics has the core ethical values like integrity, impartiality, justice and responsibility, and service orientation. The best example of the public official, which is in his leadership in the municipality of Pasig City, with is Mayor Bigo Soto. His leadership is frequently cited by international bodies and local advocates as a blueprint for ethical public service. His contribution as the integrity has institutionalized transparency by implementation the first localized freedom of information law in the Pasig City. Also the fairness and justice, he overhauled the city procurement system effectively, removing hidden costs and redirecting those savings into social service. He also pushed for the regularization of 1,000 long-term city employees, some of whom had been contractual workers for over 20 or 10 years, ensuring they receive stable benefits and fair treatment. In social responsibility under his leadership, they launched a pilot social pension program for elderly individuals with disability, providing a safety net for those vulnerable. He also prioritized universal healthcare and expanded education through the pamantasan ng lungsod ng Pasig. Yan. Ethical leadership as the foundation of supervisory authority and organizational trust. Next po. Ethical leadership in executive and supervisory roles. Key ethical responsibility of leaders, setting ethical standard, leading by example and enforcing this discipline fairly. Each of these responsibility plays a crucial role in protecting the public interest. Leading by example. Second is leading by example. Third is enforcing discipline fairly. Fourth, protecting public interests. Fifth bullet is character precede competence. Competence and authority must be exercised with moral restraint, and ethical supervisor must develop ethical subordinates. Ethical supervisors are essential in developing ethical subordinates. They set the tone and culture of their organization, creating environments where ethical behavior is the norm, not the exemption. Next po. Ethical challenge in public service. There must be challenges in public service. First is the abuse of authority, conflict of interest, lack of transparency, weak supervision, normalization of unethical practices. These are not just words they represent real issue that can undermine the very foundation of ethical governance. One critical point to consider is how unchecked discretion at lower levels often signals weak executive supervision and leads to what we call ethical drift. This drift can gradually erode the trust and effectiveness in public service. Ethical drift to underscore its importance. As we move forward, let's keep in mind that identifying this challenge is the first step toward creating solutions. Next slide po. Role of supervisor in ethical governance. Supervisors have a pivotal responsibility to translate policy into actionable ethical practices. They are on front lines, monitoring compliance and ensuring that ethical standards are upheld consistently. Supervisor must translate policies Supervisor must translate policies into ethical practice, monitor compliance, and mentor ethical behavior, correct misconduct early. Supervisor as ethical multiplier who influence daily governance outcomes. One of the key roles of supervisor is to act as mentors, nurturing ethical behavior among their teams. This mentorship is crucial in fostering environment where ethical conduct is the norm rather than the exception. Supervisor must be proactive in correcting misconduct as soon as it is identified. By addressing issues early, they prevent small problems from escalating into larger ethical breach. Next slide po. Key takeaways. Governance fundamentally requires ethical leadership. Without it, policies and procedures can fall flat. Second is accountability is not effective without moral responsibility. It is not just about checking boxes or following rules. It's about deeper commitment to doing what is right. Third is public social ethics must be institutionalized. They are not optional adds-on but core to how governance should be conducted. Last is the both executive and supervisor plays a crucial role in shaping the ethical an organization. Their action and decisions set the tone for everyone else. Remember that leadership is not only about authority. It is about accountability to the people. This end the presentation po. Thank you po.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. The presentation emphasizes that good governance is characterized by transparency, no? Another key point discussed is accountability as a core requirement of public service. No? Accountability ensures that public officials are responsible for their action and can be evaluated based on performance and ethical conduct. So mechanisms such as audits, performance review, and legislative oversight play a vital role in enforcing accountability. And this system help detect errors, correct inefficiencies, and deter corrupt practices. The presenter also highlights the role of public social ethics in guiding behavior beyond formal rules and regulations. So ethical standards influence how public servants treat citizens, manage public resources, and exercise discretion. No? Upholding values such as honesty, fairness, and respect strengthens the moral foundation of public institution. And another important insight is the interconnectedness of governance, accountability, and ethics. Weakness in one area often undermines the others, as what our presenter mentioned. While strong ethical values reinforce accountability and good governance practices. Ethical leadership at all levels help create a culture of responsibility and professionalism within public organization. And this culture encourage compliance with rules and commitment to public interest. So the presentation underscored the need for continuous improvement in civic engagement. Governance systems must evolve in response to changing social expectation, technological advancement, and emerging challenges. So citizen participation and feedback are essential in strengthening accountability and ethical standards. So overall, the discussions reinforce that governance, accountability, and public social ethics are vital to building credible institutions and achieving sustainable people-centered development. Okay?